Hey Nitwit Nation, Joe and Dom here. Today's video we'll be covering why Hogwarts Legacy may be the next Cyberpunk. We have a studio promising exploration, RPG elements, lore you love, spells from the books and movies, decisions have consequences, broom riding. What's not to love? But one thing people are not mentioning is Avalanche Software does not have a proven track record at the moment. They are responsible for Disney Infinity games and Cars 2. And Dom, Portkey Games, what are they known for?
Joe, so, just for this PlayStation 5, Xbox, PS4, all these big console games, even a PC game, no, they're only known for mobile games. They have a couple of Harry Potter mobile games, but more importantly, the Pokemon Go version of Harry Potter is about as big as it gets for them, which one is a huge concern because they've never worked on an actual game for a console or PC.
Right, and that's the thing. That's what's so nerve-wracking about this. We have two studios who don't have a proven track record developing a massive game in scope because the developers are saying that the mountain you can see from a far distance, you can climb that mountain, go to the very top. There are no limitations. That is a huge endeavor for such a studio with a very limited track record. Like, if this was Bethesda, even Ubisoft, right? And I hate saying Ubisoft because, let's be realistic, they have a terrible track record. We would have some faith in the game simply because they've made open world games, massive open world games. But these two studios don't have the experience. And not just that, we are officially just a few weeks away from launch, and we have not seen that much. I know I'm not the only one out there getting Cyberpunk vibes right now. And I hate comparing everything to Cyberpunk, but let's be real, 2020, 21, 22, it just have been terrible years for gaming. We haven't seen much. We've had more flops than games that came out that were polished and ready to go at the very beginning of their launch.
We're more likely to get a game that comes out recently that will be better in a year. That was so bugged and so problematic that it takes them about a year to fix. And this game has been in development for how long?
Since 2014. Well, that we know because it was leaked in 2014. Could have been in development since like 2012 because it's been rumored for a very long time.
So that's like a huge concern. Why did it take so long? What is the holdup? And especially being on older consoles, I know it's not fair to say, but PS4, Xbox One, and especially the Nintendo Switch. The Nintendo Switch came and run Disney Dreamlight Valley well. The older the systems are, how are they going to run this game? And is that going to ruin your experience? You have to think PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and a PC, as long as you have a solid PC, will be able to run this game, but we don't know. They delayed the other ones, except for the new-gen consoles and PC, which is another thing that makes me worried. Like, why are we delaying when it's already been delayed for how many years?
Yeah, and that announcement came out real late, too. Think about you being an Xbox One or PS4 player, and just a few months before the game launches, those versions are delayed. So one of two things happened, right? They weren't developing for those games, which would be best case scenario for people like us, or next gen players, I should say. Or two, their plan is to cancel it altogether, right? I just can't see how this game, this ambitious, could run even on these old gen consoles. Because if it would have came out, and let's just say they were developing it, it would be Cyberpunk all over, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have stopping points where it loads in new parts of the map. It's gonna have to be like Grand Theft Auto, Vice City. You cross the bridge, stop, load screen. Like, yeah, that'd be the only way to make it work with everything they're promising, which isn't possible right now.
No, not at all, not at all. And I think the other thing to talk about too is good point in regards to next gen consoles, right? Could definitely have some impact on what we could have seen with the game at launch. But the other piece is truly how compelling is this story going to be? How interactive is everything going to be? I think you said something earlier about decisions and consequences, right?
Yeah. How much does that really matter? Are we going to get a Mass Effect 2 or are we going to get Mass Effect 3?
Right, exactly. And that's I think it's a perfect way of putting it, right? They're promising decisions have consequences. And are we truly going to get that? And is the story going to be so compelling that we're going to want to be so immersed in it? Because so far, what we know, it seems pretty basic. That's not saying that's a bad thing, right? I enjoy the Far Cry games, and their stories are very basic, right? You have a villain trying to take over, an island or something along those lines, and you're trying to bust them. So it's not that a basic story can't be good, because it can. But again, these are just things you have to think about. I think that all of us, especially in our generation, are just huge fans of Harry Potter. So we saw Hogwarts Legacy, and we immediately jumped up. We're like, oh my god, this is from the books, the movies, this is the lore we love. And you're adding all these RPG elements, broom riding a hippogriff, decisions have consequences, these RPG elements, exploration. We're getting so excited and geeked because this is what they're telling us, but they still haven't shown enough for us to truly believe this is what they're developing over there. And the unproven track record is my biggest fear for this game. I'm not saying it's not possible, because I think I speak for both of us and anyone that watches this video, is that we want them to be successful. We want this to be the best game. We want this to be game of the year. This is our game of the year, and we haven't even played it.
We haven't even seen much of it.
Right. So I keep thinking, like, man, I hope this is not a flop. But I have been just as excited as anyone else out there. And but lately I've just been thinking, man, if this is a flop, my heart will break. I will lose all faith in a lot of games. Or just gaming.
How much does nostalgia carry you? That's another point too. Am I going to be willing to put up with a couple small headaches or, a couple little bugs here and there because I'm thoroughly enjoying the story, I'm thoroughly enjoying everything? Sure, but right now we have no proof of anything. We know what each fireplace looks like. That's pretty cool. Like that's the thing. Like everything they've shown has been such a basic everything, and it's like we need meats and potatoes at this point.
Yeah,
we're a few weeks away. Like let's go. Like it's time to throw a little teaser out there that makes me want to be like, okay, I'm safe with my investment.
Right, and that's exactly it. People are putting their hard-earned cash up, saying, "Hey, we have faith in this game," and it could just end up being a flop. And again, that's not what we want. We want this to be one of the best games ever made.
Yeah,
but there's obviously
another thing.
What? Go ahead.
Oh no, another thing too that's bothering to me is the expand for the deluxe and everything is only PlayStation. And that's so annoying to me because I get a different experience now on a different console for no apparent reason. Like that's another thing, just bugs me out of nowhere.
Oh, me too. I mean,
there's no need for it.
No, there's no need. But we know that's how Xbox and PlayStation does things. They put up cash with these studios and say, "Hey, can you do this for us?"
Why can't we be friends?
And if I'm not mistaken, too, the Dark Arts, is it the dungeon? What do you want to say?
Mm-hmm.
That's exclusive to the deluxe or higher editions, right?
Yes.
See, that's another thing that bothers me because, like, I understand there's going to be other arenas. That's what they're arenas in the game, but the fact that you're taking out a huge part of it just because somebody doesn't want to spend $10 additional more, it's kind of messed up. And I think that's something else people keep forgetting to mention, where you have an $80 deluxe edition that gives you the whole new arena that no one else is going to experience. And it's like they're forcing you to spend $10 more, which is really, really wrong. And I agreed the exclusivity deal, it bothers me too, but it's just one mission. And I'm like to myself, like, it sucks. Don't get me wrong. I want to play it myself, but I'll primarily be, gaming on my PC. But, I don't feel like I'll be missing too much from that. And if anything, I can just watch on YouTube. But it is very frustrating. It is very, very frustrating that they're trying to force consumers to spend the additional $10. Again, some people don't have that money. You got to think about it. There's people out there that make $11 or $12 an hour, so it takes a whole day for them to afford a game, right? So $10 can mean everything to someone, right? And I don't want to cough up a $10 additional dollars if I don't have to. Yeah. And the fact that they're kind of forcing you to, it kind of sucks.
No, I mean, I think that's the easiest way to say it. Like, yeah, sure, it's only $10, but for some, it's like, man, is that $10 really going to be worth the experience? But
yeah, it's terrible. It is truly terrible. That's how devs are doing things now. And
it really sounds also like a mobile game strategy to make you put in to buy things when you're playing a phone game. Mm-hmm. Huh? Maybe like one of the developers, what they do.
Yeah, I think a benefit we could say is there's no microtransactions. They did announce there's no microtransactions at all, which is pretty cool. But other than that, I mean, again, we want the game to succeed. We want to see it be that masterpiece, 10 out of 10. We want to see it win Game of the Year. It's just the whole point of this video is to say, be skeptical about anything that's coming out, because realistically, you may end up being extremely disappointed if you go in just with an open mind from the get-go. Yeah. Skepticism is not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing.
Especially in recent gaming world.
Yeah, especially with the recent gaming world, because a lot of people's hearts were broken with Cyberpunk, Saints Row recently, Halo, the list goes on and on. These are all AAA games. Even though Warner Brothers is typically an overall, good publisher, they made some really good games, have some really good games underneath their belt, but they're not the ones developing it. They're just the publisher. So again, we hope that this game comes out and it's the 10 out of 10 that we want. It's Game of the Year. But hey, there's a possibility it won't be. Hopefully this video opens up your eyes a little bit more in regards to what the possible outcome could be. Any closing thoughts?
No, I mean, I think nostalgia is definitely going to get us to buy it. Let's go in, try and be open-minded, but until we actually get real gameplay footage, I'm going to be worried about this game. And I think it's a fair point for everyone. How effective is it going to be actually flying? It's going to be great. I mean, the most trailer gameplay we saw was a jump. And to me, that's insane that was like what they said. Like, I jumped on a broom and I jumped in the air.
No, we see a little bit more than that, but that's, I agree with you. Like, crazy. We haven't seen enough. Like, we haven't seen enough in regards to truly know what the game is about. We've heard them speak about it more than they've shown, and I just hope they're not doing what they did with Watch Dogs, where they showed this gameplay trailer that was specifically enhanced to look way better than it was at E3 versus what the actual product is when it was in customers' hands. I just truly hope that's not the case, but I got a little bit of a feeling that it could be. We might see a graphical downgrade when we get the actual copy of the game in our hands. But I hope, again, and pray that's not the case.
Oh, man, I think everything's fair, but hey, let's be optimistic, right? New year, 2023, year of the gaming.
Yeah. Year of the gaming. We're going to be optimistic. We're going to think positive about everything. You know what? Diablo 4 is going to be phenomenal. Hogwarts Legacy is going to be phenomenal.
Or possibly we're going to have a bunch of Cyberpunk launches. Let's find out.
Hey, Starfield, 1,000 planet game is going to run at 60 frames 4K. There's no way. It's impossible. Like, I don't care. It's going to be capped at 30. I guarantee it. And that's going to be a whole nother video, but still, it's going to be capped at 30. I hope that's not the case here. But go ahead and take it away, Dom.
All right, Nitwits, if you made this far, please like and subscribe. Drop your comments down below. You think it's going to be bust? You think it's going to be Game of the Year? Or do you think it's going to be meh? Or are you buying it just for nostalgia? Whatever the case is, let us know. That's my fear. But as always, Nitwits, peace, love, and chicken grease.